Today is Tuesday, December 27, not our usual schedule, but a holiday week short meeting to move forward a number of items that need to be moved forward. Couple of announcements to make just quickly. One is I'm back in the mask world in part because all of these people have children and they are just germ carriers. But I can tell you that I sat through the latest Northwell Health webinar. I sat on the Community Board of Health Hospital and am included in this, and I can report that the epidemiologists at Northwell say it's time to be wearing masks indoors. The numbers for flu, for RSV, and for COVID are all significantly spiked. Certainly not at the level we once saw, but not so good either. And consistent stress for the Northwell Health Hospitals, all 23 of them, with inpatients for those three conditions. So that's my report on that front. And then the other thing I want to report is that we received a letter from the legal representative of the owner and developer at 444 Bedford Road. That's the former bank building at the corner of Bedford and Wheeler. That is the subject of a recent proposal for conversion to residential. An extended letter arguing against the moratorium, or at least arguing against the moratorium affecting them. So just wanted to make clear that that had been received. We have all read it and it is part of the record. All right, let's rip through these guys. 362, Paul.
Oh yeah, sorry, I gotta pull it up.
I'll be right. Let me share my screen so folks care to read it.
All right, result the Board of Trustees hereby approves the following budget amendments for the fiscal year of 2023 as listed below.
Here, I can share this. Great.
$5,000 from the state aid Climate Smart to the interfund transfer special purpose. $25,000 from state aid recreation to the parks equipment. $1,000 from the state aid conservation programs trees for the parks and supplies for a total of $31,000.
Is there a second?
Second.
Comments or questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Um,
Nicole.
Resolved that the Board of Trustees hereby approves the establishment of petty cash fund in the amount of $100 for the purpose of making change of the Recreation Department for the sale of 2023 Pleasantville Music Festival tickets.
Is there a second?
Second.
Comments or questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion approved. 364.
Resolve the Board of Trustees hereby approves the abstract for payment of claims dated December 27, 2022 for fiscal year ending 2023, covering check numbers 105-933 to 106-035 in the general fund, $121,077.76. In the special purpose, $1,070. The water fund, $12,501.10. The refuse fund, $4,470.95 for a total of $139,119.81.
Is there a second?
Second.
Comments or questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. We can include Michael in the sequence of resolutions.
We can, absolutely.
All right, can you see 365, Trustee Pepper?
Yes, sir. Resolved that the Board of Trustees hereby authorizes the revised following ticket rates for the Pleasantville Music Festival until December 31st, $50 for adult and $30 for student and senior. And from January 1st, 2023 till April 10th, $55 for an adult and $32 for a student and senior.
A second.
Second.
That's a reminder to get these to pleasantvillemusicfestival.com. Buy your tickets now, save a little bit of money. A great holiday season gift, great New Year's gift, and a great way to save a little money. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion 356, Paul.
Result that the Board of Trustees hereby authorizes the retirement of Juan Garcia, Police Sergeant, effective February 11th, 2023.
Is there a second? This is Juan's retirement letter, a longstanding and a highly regarded member of our police department. Sorry to see him go, but we look forward to a report of a vibrant retirement. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
367.
Resolved that the Board of Trustees hereby authorizes the retirement of Thomas Woods, Police Sergeant, effective January 25th, 2023.
Is there a second?
Second.
Likewise, Sergeant Woods' retirement letter including well-deserved appreciation of his leadership in the police department and his colleagues. Also look forward to reports from Thomas in his next chapter. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
David, 360.
Resolve the Board of Trustees hereby accepts a donation to the Clinton Street Center CM, excuse me, 0085 from Yuki Gordon in the amount of $100 and from James O'Hanlon in the amount of $100.
Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you to Yuki and James. Very much appreciated. Favor?
Aye.
Motion approved. Michael, 369.
Resolved that the Board of Trustees hereby approves the hiring of the following part-time recreation assistant, job code 269, part-time available on an as-needed basis. Daisy Perez at a rate of $55, budget code A7622.101 for the adult program, effective date January 23rd.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Easy, that we call 370.
Resolved, whereas the Board of Trustees authorizes the Recreation Superintendent Michael Newman to apply for the New York State Parks Recreation and Historic Preservation Grant, project name Department of Public Works Equipment, PKS-22-TA-913, contract number T22T913 in the amount of $25,000. And whereas the Village of Pleasantville purchased a Bobcat L28 small articulated loader on July 28, 2022, in the amount of $41,174.62 for the purpose of salting, snow removal from the sidewalks, stump grinding, and maintenance operations in village parks. Now therefore be resolved, the Board of Trustees hereby authorizes the village treasurer to deposit a check in the amount of $25,000 for the purpose of partial reimbursement.
Is there a second?
Second.
Good news, good news. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion
Aye.
approved. 371.
Resolved that the Board of Trustees hereby authorizes the Recreation Superintendent, Michael Newman, to accept funds from the New York State Urban Forestry Council grant in the amount of $1,000 for the purpose of partial reimbursement for the planting of a new Norway spruce located at Grant Street and Edgewood Avenue. And further resolved, the Board of Trustees hereby authorizes the village treasurer to deposit said funds.
Is there a second?
Second.
It's one tree,
It was the holiday tree then.
Yeah.
so that's not Grant Street in Edgewood, right?
Yeah, good point.
Oh, right, yeah,
Should be, I guess, Great Oak Lane.
we'll update that.
And Villa Edgewood,
Yeah.
better. All right, consistent with that, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion approved, 372.
Whereas the payment plan has been proposed by Apropos Housing Opportunities and Management Enterprises, Inc., AHOME, for the purposes of a partial reimbursement for the emergency standby generator located at the Clinton Street Center. Whereas AHOME agrees to submit 3 payments by December 15th, 2022 in the amount of $16,950, January 15th, 2023 in the same amount, and February 15th, 2023 in the amount of $16,947.50. Now therefore be resolved, the village board hereby approves the proposed payment plan and authorizes the village treasurer to deposit a check in the amount of $16,950 for the December payment.
Is there a second?
Second.
So all makes sense. The monies are actually not AHOME's. They are the managing agent for monies that are actually the property of Pleasantville Housing Development Fund Corporation. So should we refer to that in some way in this resolution?
We can,
I mean, the check comes from AHOME
Right.
because they manage the accounts,
and that's who we've
but it
engaged.
isn't their money. It's PHDFC's.
Okay, we can note that in the resolution.
Just for the historical.
Yeah, yeah, we've been working directly with.
Yeah, and that's the right thing. So this is the shared arrangement for the backup generator for the not only for the housing, but for our senior center. Correct. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion. Mike, Michael Peppard, you. are
I'm
the-
ready. Whereas on December 12th, 2022, the Board of Trustees introduced a proposed local law enacting a temporary moratorium on the review of new land use applications for site plan approval, special use permit approval, subdivision approval, variance relief, and building permits pertaining to properties located in the Central Business A1 District, including in the Central Business A1 sub-area in the Village of Pleasantville. And whereas the Board of Trustees believes that a moratorium is necessary to preserve the status quo while it assesses whether changes are warranted in the Central Business A1 District, including the Central Business A1 sub-area, to ensure that the current scope of development permitted under the zoning code is appropriate and can be supported by the village's existing infrastructure. And whereas maintaining the status quo will protect the public interest and welfare, ensure consistency with new zoning requirements, promote community planning values by regulating land development based on a carefully considered plan, and prevent potential applicants from seeking approvals before new conditions and requirements are established. And whereas the adoption of this moratorium is a type 2 action pursuant to the New York State Environmental Quality Review Act, and accordingly no further environmental review is required. Now therefore be it resolved that the Board of Trustees of the Village of Pleasantville shall hold a public hearing on Monday, January 23rd, 2023 at 8:00 p.m. at Village Hall, 80 Wheeler Avenue, Pleasantville, New York, to consider the proposed local law to enact a moratorium on development in the Central Business A1 District, including the Central Business A1 sub-area. And be it further resolved that the Board of Trustees hereby refers the local law to the Village Planning Commission for report and recommendation. And be it further resolved that the Board of Trustees hereby directs referral of the local law pursuant to the General Municipal Law and Westchester County Administrative Code to the Westchester County Planning Board. Attachments, the local laws text and memo from BFJ Planning.
Is there a second?
Second.
So this, as folks know from our conversations this month, arose out of our town meeting back in November, and the comments and responses and concerns that have been discussed on all sides ever since. So the board proposes this moratorium, the text of which is available online at pleasantville-ny.gov if you are interested, and we'll hold the required public hearing on Monday, January 23rd. If approved, that the moratorium is retroactive to the date of the town hall, which was, I believe, November 16th. Comments are welcome, and we encourage anyone who has a concern in either direction regarding the moratorium to participate in the public hearing Monday, January 23 at 8 p.m. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Motion approved.
Mr. Mayor, one thing to point out, in the first discussion of the moratorium, the exempt limitation was 3,000 square feet. In conversation with the building department, in context of commercial retail areas, that was increased to 4,000.
And the basis for that was the desire to allow reasonable, logical evolution of existing properties to continue.
Mm-hmm.
Not track, for example, the releasing of an existing retail. Right. All right, thank you for that. Paul. No, let's see, 374.
Whereas the Village of Pleasantville proposed a 6-month moratorium in the Central Business A1 District, including in the Central Business A1 sub-area. And whereas regardless of whether the moratorium is enacted by the Board of Trustees, the village seeks to undertake an analysis of the Central Business A1 District to include potential remaining development under existing zoning, how that compares with the development potential in the zoning's regulations pre-2017, and what zoning mitigation measures are needed to address the community's concerns about the impacts of public safety, infrastructure, and traffic. Now there be resolved that the Village Board of Trustees hereby authorizes the village administrator to execute a proposal from BFJ Planning in the amount of $30,000 for a zoning study of the A1 district.
Is there a second? Again, that proposal is attached to the agenda. Anyone can pick it up if they care to. It's pleasantville-ny.gov. BFJ is our longstanding planning consultant, and they were the planning consultants we used for the update of the master plan, which took place back in 2017. They've done a great job for us, are very familiar with the community, and also very familiar with Westchester and the region, having done similar work for quite a few Westchester municipalities. So I am confident that they are the ideal team to assist us in this venture. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. 375, Nicole.
Resolved that the Board of Trustees authorized a climate smart incentive program for the partial reimbursement to residents for electric leaf blowers and electric lawnmowers on May 9th, 2022, and further resolved that the village issued one partial reimbursement per household for electric leaf blowers or electric lawnmowers to residents. And now therefore be it resolved that the Board of Trustees authorized an additional climate smart incentive program for the partial reimbursement to residents for electric leaf blowers, electric lawnmowers, and electric snow blowers on November 14th, 2022. By the way, we're also gonna have weed whackers. I don't know if you're. I don't know if it's in place. And be it further resolved that the Board
Should
of
we
Trustees.
include that in this resolution?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, and be it further resolved that the Board of Trustees hereby authorizes residents to submit for a partial reimbursement each for an electric leaf blower, electric lawnmower, and electric snow blower, and weed whacker.
And let's see. Out of curiosity.
Sorry,
So,
yeah, let's, okay.
yeah,
so we're
I
second,
can. Do we want to vote on it first, or do
No,
you
go
want to
ahead.
explain it? For the leaf blowers, oh, let me see, okay. It differs a little bit for each thing, but for snow blowers and lawnmowers, if somebody turns in an old gas powered one, the rebate is up to $125. If they don't, it's $75. So they can just purchase an electric one and $75 rebate up to 50% of the price, but
Yeah.
in general, that's
Good.
within that zone, yeah.
So
And the snow blower rebate has been quite popular. Like I wasn't sure
Mm.
what kind of response we were gonna get, but we've actually gotten a pretty decent response.
So let me just say appropriate that A, that was your resolution because you've been working on this, but B, that this is the last resolution of the year 2022. We should
Yes.
look back and see who issued the first resolution, and perhaps it was you. In which case it's okay.
Full circle.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion approved. Can anyone think of?
Did we second that?
Hmm?
I don't think.
David,
David.
seconded.
Mr. Mayor, and then just a authorization to go into a quick executive session on personnel and contractual matter.
All right, anyone know anything to add here in our last moment of 2022?
Like we
There-
should.
It seems like we should, but it's a holiday week, all right. We'll be back to see you in 2023. Our first meeting is on Monday, January 9. Between now and then, we hope everybody has a happy, healthy holiday season, and we look forward to 2023 being a great year for all of us and for the village of Pleasant. Thank you all for all you do. Is there a motion to go into executive session on matters of? So, second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion approved. All right, thank you all. Michael will call you if you want to hang in for this brief 5-minute executive session. Okay.
Sure, thank you.